Lobster, you got it back yet? Lobster's a 10, I think don't you grab it?
This video is brought to you by T-Blocks. Enjoy the content now, but stay for the shilling later. Welcome to Lobster Magnets Review the channel. I'm here by myself to talk about Promised Neverland, Chapter 80. I wasn't able to get Zavul to talk about these last few chapters. And I really want to get Zavul and Goro to talk about Promised Neverland, because I'm curious to see what they think of this arc. I definitely enjoyed this chapter. Things are going in a good direction. Now we're finally seeing the, scales turn on the kids where things aren't going as smoothly. I also love the scene where, like, the kids are kind of fazed by the fact that the demons are showing grief. They're going, ooh, Nova, no, ooh. That was a great scene. I also love the fact that, Nos ate, her face, which was a nice, fun, graphic, gory detail. And I also like the fact that, now that, so the kids had the tactical advantage of surprise. Now, Noma knows what to expect, and he's like a complete terrifying badass. He throws a spear at them. For all we know, he skewered a kid, which would be awesome if we see that next chapter. And, it looks like he's gonna, mess up the little girl. And, he's just like this towering badass. And it's like, okay, now we can see why these demons are terrifying to deal with. Because, they're so much more physically imposing than the kids. And, they're difficult to shoot. Now that it's on a little bit more of a square game versus before where it just felt like, you're giving these kids weapons. Why aren't they slaughtering you all? You've just enraged a bunch of teenagers who are mad chimps just beating down on the demons. And we also have the confrontation between Lewis and Emma, and that I also love his little monkey thing that he's imitating him. My guess is that I think Emma's gonna Lewis is going to get some victories. Lewis is the big bad. The hype is too big for him. Archduke Lewis has a lot to live up to, and that's sort of my biggest fear, is that, Lewis needs to get some victories. We need to see him as the threat. Right now the setup is really good. We can get a good 20, 30 chapters of just seeing this thing, and I want it to be a bare knuckle fight. I want to see the kids shit go wrong. I want to see them have contingency plans. I want to see the demons power through it. I want to see the demons be smart. There's because as much as I'm enjoying this action stuff, so far it doesn't feel as tight or as well plotted as the stuff we've seen in Grace Fields, where it was every little detail was this building suspense and, getting ropes and hiding from Sister Crone and then hiding from Mama and all the little tricky mind games. That's what sort of got the series to be its sort of Death Note status. And right now, it does, as much as I'm enjoying it, it doesn't feel particularly clever. But, at the same time, though, I am enjoying, seeing this sort of big payoff of seeing the kids directly confront their captors and tormentors and learning more about how Grace Fields and Plantation 3 is oh, that's the best stuff. Ooh, tasty brains. And this chapter also does confirm that, what we've been talking about a while, that, the demons prize the brains above all else, I guess that's, the caviar of the humans. You can have the flesh, which is alright, but, tasty mentally developed brains, that's where the bee's knees is at. That's the tastiest stuff. So it makes sense that Norman's in his little frickin' clone center with all the mutated children, so they can figure out how to make more Normans cheaper. That's my guess, is that they want to figure out a way to clone him, because just like how in the real world we want to figure out how to clone meat. So once we can clone meat, that'll take away, that'll just make the world a better place, because as much as I love eating meat, and as much as I'm a cruel, horrible omnivore who just loves to eat the flesh of other beings, and, I'm no better than a Promised Neverland demon. Even I have to admit that, harvesting meat isn't good for the environment. It's one of the leading causes for global warming, unfortunately, all that methane and poop. So, if we get factory or, clone meat that can be grown in a tube, then, we have a better chance of living happy lives and making the world a better place. Just like the demons would probably like to get, cloned Norman meat. just because that would be, much more expedient than waiting 12 years, and you only have one Norman, so, if you could have, like, a bunch of Norman, that'd be great, it'd be good for everyone in the demon world, have this top-quality stuff. But, I'm enjoying this fight. I'm enjoying the suspense of, like, when is Mr. Rufio as well as Ray going to, like, come in? When are they going to... Obviously, they're being set up to have a big hero moment where they enter into the Norway. And, of course, the reunion between the one-armed man, Lucas, and, Rufio. Which, of course, is something I'm looking forward to seeing. But, I can't wait to see Lewis start to screw up some shit. I'm enjoying his, like, supervillain, and I love the fact that, like, Emma's, like, toying with him with, like, whatever this game is. I can't wait to see what this game is. This is, like, a sort of form of storytelling that we sort of see a lot, which is, like, retconned backstory, where, like, basically it's set up in the sense that, like, all these details of the plan were discussed beforehand. We just don't know them. So then we can have flashbacks to make it seem like they were all planned from the beginning. It's sort of a little bit of a lazy method of storytelling, just because it shows that you're kind of like flying by the seat of your pants and just making up shit all along, but then like trying to like sell it like, oh, no, this was planned from the start. I totally had this in mind. But like I said, I'm enjoying the setup right now. I'm enjoying seeing the pendulum sway in the demon's favor. How the kids started out really strong, but now like it's getting a little more dicey. And I also like the fact that like Lord Bayon is like roaming out on his own, and they're implying that like, oh, maybe he killed the other kids. I don't think he did. I feel like it's too early to just like have some kids killed off screen. I think what happened with Lord Bayon is that like he just decided to walk another route than what they had expected him to be. So, of course, the, little manic pixie dream girl is like flipping out because they don't have a cannon, and Lord Bayon's there like, oh, I'm going to scare you kids. I'm going to eat you. Ha 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 ha. Good old Lord Bayon. So Lord Bayon, you got a lot of hype to live up. We've got, let's see, we have 3 active demons and a lot of kids. So, it's definitely like the point where like shit can go wrong. Given the fact that like, Noma, Noose is still alive, Lord Bayon is still alive, and of course the granddaddy, Archduke Louis. Louis, I'm rooting for you. I want you to be an all-time villain. I want you to be such a good villain that people are cosplaying you for years to come. So Louis, you make us proud. Like the biggest disappointment was like in the next 2 chapters, Louis gets killed, but he's been built up a little too much to see that happen. So I think there's a good chance Lewis is going to kick ass. Alright, so that's my thoughts for Promised Neverland. Hopefully I'll get Zavul or Goro here and we can have like a nice spirited discussion about these past few arcs. Because I do not like talking alone. This is my least favorite form of content. It's not fun for me. And thank you for all you people who actually do like and comment and, take the time to listen to these videos. It means a lot to me, given the fact this is the lowest form of content that I can produce. So, thank you, and remember, lobster's a tennis, but don't you grab it. Oh, I almost forgot. This chapter gets an 8. It's a solid 8. Solid 8, and remember, lobster's in tennis, but don't you grab it. Do you like clothes but hate shopping? Then T-Blocks is the subscription service for you. But I know what you're thinking. But Lobster, how is that any different than Loot Crate or the other subscription services? Well, T-Blocks sends you t-shirts, which is clothing, which is actually useful, unlike the useless swag junk that Loot Crate keeps peddling on gullible schmucks. And this isn't just knockoff brand crap. T-Blocks hooks you up with licensed shirts for all the stuff you love, because you need clothes. How else are you going to keep your puny human man flesh protected from the elements? T-shirts are useful for any occasion. Wear them. Give them to friends. Give them to enemies. Knit them together. Make a quilt. T-shirts are life. And you know the best part? It'll only cost you $6.99. That's right, you can get 12 shirts sent to you for once a month for only $6.99. And you know what? If ultra cheap licensed goods are too basic for you, then there's also the Community T-Block set, which features original designs from the best up-and-coming artists so you can keep that hipster street cred. But I'm here to save you even more money! Use the code LOBSTERTBX at checkout and you'll save 10% on any order. Be a t-shirt wearing god amongst mortals. Use the power of the most expensive seafood to get you the cheapest t-shirts now!
Lobster's made of lights.